Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, My Boyfriend of 8 months Broke Up With Me After I Told Him I Had Casual You-Know-What in the Past. And guys, this story is about a gal. She is 24 years old. Her boyfriend, or shall I say her now ex-boyfriend, 25. And she's having a meltdown here because, essentially, the boyfriend found out about her past. She neglected to mention to him that she definitely got around. This gal is an absolute guaranteed carousel rider who was in many toxic relationships, that type. Somehow found herself a good guy, a guy that's not the nice guy type. The type of guy, actually, in my opinion, what it sounds like is a guy who is a young, high-value guy who is confident in who he is going somewhere in life. He treats her really well, as you're going to see, but not in a way too much as crossing the line of being too much of a put her on the pedestal. And she's actually, as she claims, really happy with him. But the thing is, he made it clear from the beginning, I don't like gals that live that lifestyle. Casual, SCX, that thing. She, of course, hides it, and one day finds out. And you're going to see how this whole thing goes, and wants a whole lot of pity. And as an example, once again, to show that the past will always come back to haunt you. These gals think they can behave in a certain way, and they find that guy, and then he's just supposed to accept that. And more guys nowadays are waking up to realize, or maybe they're learning this from channels like mine and other channels, you don't need to accept these different gals that have high body counts, embarrass themselves, do these things on social media for attention, all that. You don't have to accept that. And no guy wants a gal that does all those things. And of course, a lot of these gals post these things online and whine and complain it's not fair. There are consequences to actions. And they don't like it. So, starts off, says here, I met my boyfriend at a friend's party. He is a really good dancer and super cute and handsome. And I fell for him instantly when I saw him. I asked my friend to introduce me to him. We talked and really hit it off. He was new to the city, so I offered to show him around. We started hanging out and eventually started dating. He is a very loving and caring person and a hopeless romantic, the kind of guy you fantasize about in your teens while reading cheesy romance novels. So she met him at a party, really good dancer, all that. Women like guys that are dancers. Nice guy types aren't good dancers who girls are lining up to meet. So you can see what I'm talking about here. But he's romantic and treats her like a lady, even though he doesn't know yet she ain't no lady. He emotionally supported me in my bad times, took care of me when I was sick, and often did some stupid, cheesy romantic stuff that would embarrass me or make me blush. I was living the dream. The SEX was amazing. He was very considerate and would always ask me what works for me. Nobody ever done that before for me. So again, I mean, he's doing all this cheesy crap and he's very considerate, but still, she claimed the SEX was amazing. No girl in the history of the world is going to say the SEX is amazing with your typical nice guy. So this guy seems to be the happy medium. The first time he asked me that in bed, I cried a little bit, not kidding. He treated me better than anyone else, and I doubt anybody ever will. It was last week that things all went downhill. The topic of casual SEX came up, and I confessed to him that I was involved in casual SEX. He asked me what my mindset was when I indulged in those things, and I told him that I was lonely and just needed companionship. Really? Lonely? A lot of people, when they're lonely, get a dog or a cat or hang out with their friends or family. They don't need to display themselves on Tinder, which I guarantee this was, and order guys like pizza or have guys order her like pizza. And there you go. What you're going to see as she gets more into details here, because she's trickle-truthing us guys, her friends are all like this too. They're all carousel riders. And she has a habit of choosing the bad boys. But now she wants to be a reformed carousel rider, but doesn't work that way. He told me he doesn't know how to respond to that and just kept quiet. I knew at that moment that I effed up. I'd never seen him so quiet like that. He had a hard time processing that. For context, he's an old school romantic kind of guy, and we both had relationships before we were escort active, and he was aware that I was sexually active with my exes, and there was never any issue. He's not the insecure kind. My ex has never bothered him. So in other words, he was okay that she had boyfriends in the past, like official, like exclusive relationships, and they obviously hooked up. He was okay with that because it was like a committed relationship. Committed. But just casual, being a Tinderella, he's not cool with. Throughout the week, he kept maintaining distance, and he would stop picking up calls, and I got very impatient and went to his place to confront him, and he sat me down and told me he cannot continue this relationship. Well, good for him for doing what he wanted, for not allowing that. He is allowed to make a choice. And as you can imagine, a lot of people would hate him for that. You know, that's just the world we're in. But too fucking bad. It's his life. And by the way, he made it clear from the beginning he doesn't want to be with someone like this. And she lied. She hid it from him. I begged him to stay, and he comforted me and told me that I did nothing wrong, but he has some boundaries and he wants to stick to them. All guys should have boundaries and deal breakers, and good for him. And she did do something wrong because she hid this from him. She knew it was a problem. He said he cannot be with someone who can separate sex and emotions. I told him I'm a different person now. Sure, honey. And all that was in the past. And he said I did nothing wrong and he doesn't blame me for it. It's a him problem. And he's being selfish and breaking up for his own mental peace. In other words, I think he knows I don't want to be with that gal who's done that with half the college, or realizing the mental peace, eventually she's going to get bored, do the same thing. I can't even blame him. I knew about his stance on hookups because my friend who introduced me to him also tried to hook up with him before we met. But he denied, saying that he doesn't believe in casual sex and hookups. So you knew. I knew my past could bite me, but I always thought to myself, I'll find someone who does not judge me for my past. I had always thought that men who would reject me from my past wouldn't be worth it, but this hits me different. Then you are in for a rude awakening, honey, because more and more guys every day are waking up to realize I don't have to tolerate this shit. And you have tons of gals out there with major past, unfortunately, thanks to dating apps and things like Tinder and all that, and feminism encouraging to do this. You're going to have a lot of unhappy gals out there. He's a guy who could easily get laid but chooses not to because of his beliefs. He's a gem of a person. I just cannot accept that fact that my past actions could haunt me in this way. Actions have consequences. But of course, nobody thinks about that at the time. If I could just go back and erase that part of my life. If I could only undo it all again. I have never regretted my past this much. He'll probably find someone better than me, and she'll be the luckiest girl. I just want to cry. End of rant. This is the end of her rant. Next, she says, thank you for your kind words, ladies. But a lot of people have bashed my ex, and it's important to know that I left out a few details in the post. So, of course, the ladies in the comment section are bashing him, making him out to be the root of all evil because he doesn't accept her past. But she left out a few details. He did try to communicate with me that casual sex was a deal breaker for him in subtle ways in the initial couple of months, but I did not want to reveal my past to him just yet, and when I confessed to him last week, he felt more betrayed than bothered about my hookups. So he made it clear from the beginning. That's not the type of gal he wants, and she hid it on purpose. I'm glad she admitted to him, finally, and she's admitting where she's effing up here, so I'll give her credit, fair enough. And she's not trashing him. She's not saying this guy is the biggest a-hole or something like that, so I'll give credit where credit's due. But you did what you did. Even then, he did not tell me that I lied to him, though I technically did by admitting something I was clearly aware mattered to him. When I confronted him, we had a long conversation about it, and for people saying he was just looking for a reason to break up with me, I'm not sure how you even came to that conclusion when I know for a fact that everything was perfect until then. From her description, it does not sound like he was looking for an excuse to break up with her, until he found out. Another little update, she says, I just want to share my sorrow here. My sorrow. I guess some people support, as I don't really have a support system at the moment, but people are too busy either bashing my ex or defending casual sex. I effed up, and maybe if I was honest earlier, he would have accepted me, but I ruined my chances. I just received a text from him asking to meet. He said he needed some space, and he was not in a state of mind right now when I confronted him, and he was just too overwhelmed to talk about it. He told me I deserved a proper closure. So yeah, he is still breaking up with me, and that's fair. He did nothing wrong, but I betrayed his trust. I just hooked up to fill a void after some really toxic relationships. This toxic relationship girl, she's into bad boys, Chad and Tyrone, and gals that have a history of toxic relationships, they'll go with that nice guy for a while. And this guy is not your typical, he's in the middle, like I said, but eventually that could get boring to them. And next thing you know, they're stirring up drama and then longing for the bad boys and the butterflies, and there you go. But this guy actually does sound like he actually gives you some butterflies, believe it or not. All I ever wanted was a guy like him, but when I finally got him, my past actions took it all away. The past always comes back to haunt you. I wonder what my life would be like if only I'd met him earlier. And for all the men sliding into my DMs, y'all are the reason letting go such a nice guy hurts me even more. And now the conclusion to see where this goes. She says, now the past week has been hell for me. I broke down at work thinking about him. I've been putting on a brave face in front of all my friends, but I'm not okay. Some of them think I dumped him because I got bored with him. There you go. They know the type of guy she normally goes for. And she says, they know about my past from a long time. I drunk dialed my ex and he had to come and drop me off at 2 a.m. I made some advances on him, but he quickly pushed me off. He told me to get my act together, and that's equally hard on him. And if I pull another stunt like this, he will go no contact with me. How about that? I just feel so disgusted at myself. One of my friends has approached me asking if I'm okay with her asking him out. What kind of friends does she hang out with here? They can see she's upset that he broke up with her, and they're already saying, well, since you're not together anymore, mind if I ask him out? Like he would want to get together with any of her friends now knowing about her. She says she generally has feelings for him and is not looking for a time pass. When does she have time to develop feelings for him? Probably what's going on here is that all these girls see how much this girl's into him, so they're like, no, I want a piece of him. I've realized that all my friends thought I was just using him for a time pass because of my past. They never thought I was deserving of a guy like him. I've been feeling this uncomfortable guilt over my past. I just feel disgusted by myself and how people around me perceive me. I no longer believe in the things I did, but I can't change the fact that I did them. I know I'll get a lot of people telling me that it was okay, there's nothing wrong with it, but I no longer feel that it was right, and it's not okay, not after my ex broke up with me. That I've been feeling this way for a long time. It's hard coming to terms with it, and my recent breakup realized all my fears. I don't know how to get over this. I'm only getting more miserable each day. And there you go. This is an example of what happens when you do things and you don't think about the future. So I will say this. She is not trashing him, which I respect. And she's admitting she screwed up, which I respect. And seems like she's definitely like, I can't believe all the shit I did when I was younger. So my only advice to her is, you're going to have to let him go. Respect his wishes, wish him well, and back away. And going forward in relationships, tell the guys up front and let them know about your past. And a lot are probably going to not have anything to do with you, but you might find one that might actually give her a shot. That's what I think she should do. But the likelihood is that she may just end up going right back to her old ways to feel better, to get over him, and go back to being a carousel rider and just make the matter worse. So maybe she'll learn. But anyhow, guys, this is an example of what you're going to see more and more of as time goes on. And feminism really did their job on the modern gals. And you know what I'm talking about. Strong and empowered. Hooking up with every guy in town being just like a guy. But guess what? Most guys don't do that. Only a small percentage of guys actually do that where they hook up with every girl they can come across. That's just it. It is how it is. But it's far easier for a young pretty gal, hell, even just an average gal, to get lots of guys versus a good-looking guy to get lots of gals. Let's be honest here. So this is an example, and you're going to see more and more of this as time goes on. So message out there is you need to think about your future because eventually things will come back to haunt you. Actions have consequences. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. I'm sure you like the video. Share it with your friends and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.